Welcome back to Yoga by Stephanie Mia. Today we have a really great vinyasa flow. When you are ready, walk to the top of your mat, coming to mountain pose, arms overhead. Inhale deeply, open the chest, cactus arms, and slowly let that breath out. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Bend the knees, arms come up, big inhale. And slowly exhale, coming into cactus arms. Nice job. Just get into the rhythm, get into the frame of mind of doing yoga. I'm going to do this 1 more time. Slight bend in the knees, arms overhead. Inhale. And take it down. Exhale with your cactus arms. Good job. From here, you're going to go straight into interlacing the arms. Sink the hips back a little lower. Come into chair pose. And you can keep the feet hip-width distance apart. Once you find stability, you can go ahead and open up through your chest, sinking as low as possible, stabilizing your breath. Nice. So what we're trying to accomplish in this pose is more about how we're feeling. Can we still maintain that self-check-in? What am I doing? How am I feeling? Is my breath still leading me in this practice? Take an inhale as we come back to standing. And we're going to take our arms all the way down, hinging at the hips, maintaining that bend in our knees as we come to place our palms on the floor. This can also be your fingertips on the floor, just what is comfortable for you, and adjust the bend in your leg as much as you need to. All things being equal, you should feel a slight stretch in your hamstrings, and that's because we're bending the knees, so we're focusing on that muscle group. And if you want to deepen that stretch, you can go ahead and alternate bending one leg and then bending the other. And here you can use the opportunity to establish your breath. When you're ready, take your right leg back into a plank and then your left leg. So you're at the top of a push-up. And from here, you're going to slowly lower onto your belly, keeping your palms by your chest. Good. And you can, of course, adjust as is necessary. We're going to come into Sphinx pose, so place your elbows where your palms were and just enjoy this nice back stretch. We're not trying to force ourselves into any uncomfortable situation. We're just enjoying the flow and taking it as it comes. When you're ready, push back up into your plank, then send your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Nice. Take a rest here. Shoot your heels towards the back of the mat. Bring your chest towards the top of your thighs. Rotate your shoulders so your armpits are facing each other, keeping your core engaged. Catch your breath here. And once you're situated and comfortable, you can go ahead and bend the knees just as we did in forward fold to deepen that stretch. Stretch through the hamstrings, through the calves, all the way down to your heel. This allows us to pay individual attention to each leg, see the differences, work out the kinks and the knots that we're feeling. Remember, in yoga, it's all about you, how you can connect spiritually, physically, and emotionally to yourself once again. So since you decided to take the time, let's just do that and devote ourselves wholeheartedly to this process. When you're ready, walk the palms back to your toes, come into a nice forward fold, and we're going to continue to bend and straighten those legs. We're going to do this for about 4 reps. So continue to bend both knees and straighten as much as possible. So of course, you may not be able to straighten your legs completely, but it's just to test out that range of motion to see how you're feeling and how you can get accustomed to this movement. So it's basically like an experiment to see where we are, appreciate where we are, and say, okay, how can I proceed from here? From here, we're going to inhale, take it up into your half forward fold, resting your hands on your knees, keeping a straight back or a flexed back. and just enjoying hanging here for a while. I was also demonstrating your natural spine. The natural form of your spine is a curve, but when you actually straighten your back, you're actually flexing your back. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're playing with our hip rotation because our hips are also involved in straightening and curving our spine. So it's really, as I've said, all connected, and we're just exploring in this practice. You can go ahead and rest your hands on your thighs as you make your way back up. Arms come up, big inhale. And exhale, bring the palms to your chest. Open your chest, open your heart. Lovely. I'm going to demonstrate what our next movement is going to be. So we're going to come into sort of a twist. So I'm going to lift my right leg and come into a figure 4. And from here, I'm going to place my elbows to the sole of my feet, keeping my arms clasped. And here I'm just going to really stretch through my back, just so that we know what we're doing. So it's really slow, and just take your time to note that throughout this, my supporting leg is bent. I'm engaging through my abs, and I'm trying to find a point off of the mat where I can focus my energy. That focal point is helping me balance. That slight bending my leg is also helping me balance. And keeping my core engaged is one of the primary reasons why we can hold this pose. Okay, so I'm going to turn back to the side, and we're going to do this together. Arms back to your chest. Big inhale. And when you're ready, exhale, and you're going to lift that leg. So when you're ready, drawing in from the ground, lifting through the calf, belly engaged. We're going to use our hip mobility or knee mobility. We're going to come into a figure 4. Hook your toes around your knee as much as possible on the standing leg. And you're going to bring your elbow towards the sole of your feet. Yes? And from here, you're going to try to get your chest to the middle of your palms. So, sorry, your palms are going to go towards the middle of your chest. So as much as is possible, try to turn your chest to face fully your palms. As you can see, I'm also trying to hold my balance. And it's okay, you might lose balance, that's okay. Just continue holding. Find a spot to focus on. Breathe here, inhale. Slight smile on your lips, maybe. And when you're ready, you're going to exit the pose just as how you came into the pose. Bring the chest to the ground, uncross your legs, plant the feet hip width apart, and we're going to prepare to take it to the other side. Sink your hips as if you were in chair pose. Keep the feet hip width distance apart. Arms come up and overhead. Nice and strong. Engage the core. Nice. Take a deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Palms come to the chest. Straighten up through the legs. Then lift the left leg. Nice and strong. Make a figure 4 once again. Wrap the toes around that front leg as much as possible, and you're going to bring your elbow to the sole of your feet. Nice and slow. There is absolutely no rush, no race to be won. Take your time, and when you get there, you'll get there. Remember that it's okay if you lose balance, just try again. This is a safe, fun space where you can fall, we'll catch you. Inhale, exhale, inhale, lift up, straighten that standing leg, uncross your feet, and there you have it. Great, how are you feeling? And from here we're going to move on. So come to stand in the middle of your mat. Close your eyes. Take a moment to have a breath here. Inhale and exhale. Good job. All right, let's continue with our practice. We're going to come into firstly a high lunge, and we're going to explore the warrior positions. So we're firstly in our high lunge, our front knee is bent, and of course we're drawing energy through, stretching the hip flexor and the back leg, stretching through our quads. Our heels are shooting towards the floor, and I'm reminding you that your legs are in two different lanes, so having your legs in separate lanes or that visual really helps with my balance and allows me to properly engage my core and my glute muscle. And once you have that stability, you can go ahead and come into your warrior one. Plant your feet and ensure that they are diagonal to the back of the mat. Keep that bend in your front leg. Keep your hip joints facing forward. Square them as much as possible. And when you're situated, then you can open up through the chest, coming to cactus arms. Even in this pose, we ensure our core is engaged. It allows us to maintain balance. We stretch the arms up and back into our cactus pose. And let's just do this rep one more time. Good. And from here, we can transition into warrior two. Here, my hip joints are now facing the side, completely towards the side of the mat, the long edge of the mat, and I'm in a strong warrior two position. My front knee is still maintaining that bend, and my left hip flexor is still being stretched. I'm also using my quads and hamstring to support myself in the front leg to maintain that integrity and balance in this posture. Deep breath in and exhale. Good job. We're going to sit in this pose for a little while, keeping awareness of how we are placing our bodies. We should do this with intention, checking to see, are my hips pointing the correct way? Are my shoulders over my hips? How is my breath? Is my bottom sticking out? Just a little self-checking to see where we are. This is not to say that this channel is about perfect alignment only, although it is encouraged, but just becoming aware of those small things will bring you into a habit of checking in with yourself. As I've been talking, I realized that we are moving into warrior three. So when you're ready, pivot on that back leg and hop up into warrior three, and you can play around with this pose as well, coming into airplane arms, shooting through that back leg, finding stability in this posture. Your leg can also be resting on the mat. That's absolutely okay because we're taking everyone where they are. And there's no pressure to outdo anyone or this impression that you may have of where your progress is supposed to be. So with care, we're going to turn the toes in diagonally and take a wide stance on this mat. We're going to work towards our goddess pose, and we're going to juxtapose that with our eagle arms. So heel toe, your legs outward, more than hip distance apart, of course, but just enough that you still have control over your range of motion. Okay, so imagine that your two legs are facing diagonally to each other, so your heels, if you're standing together, your heels will touch, and that's the only difference is space. So pretend that your heels are moving towards each other and your toes are shooting towards the corners of your mat. From here, we're going to push the knees towards the side, trying to get into a straight line as much as possible, and then sink your hips so you can deepen that squat. From here, bring the right hand under and the left hand over, and you can come into eagle arms. The back of your palms can face each other, or if you do have some more flexibility in your shoulder girdle, you can clasp your arms together. Sink a little lower. Let's not focus on if our quads are burning or not, but just try to maintain breath, try to see where our thoughts go, and try to remember that our mind gives up way quicker than our body does. Sometimes we are so quick to underestimate our strength and endurance, but this practice allows you to slow down, to track our thoughts. Switch arms, so the left hand comes under, right hand comes over, and you can go ahead and try to wrap your arms around each other. Of course, it's up to you and where we are in this practice. But yes, maintaining that stance, we can definitely keep this going, watching our breath, monitoring our thoughts, and just being present in this practice. Okay, great. Straighten the legs. We made it. We did it. Good job. Shake out the leg. You're doing great. Good job. I think I was sitting here. I'm so glad that this mic wasn't working because I wouldn't want to subject you to that. Okay, great. I'm gonna switch positions and do the warrior progression on this side just so that you can see better, because I wouldn't want you to be at a disadvantage. Okay, so when you're ready, bring that left leg into our high lunge to start, shooting that heel back towards your mat. I'm going to take our time to place that heel down, having it diagonal to the back of our mat. We're going to bend that front leg and our hips are facing forward. So as I mentioned in the Warrior 1 How to Beginner series, I personally think Warrior 1 is the hardest one because of the feet placement. So it really takes a lot just to try to tune into our bodies to see how we can execute this alignment. And it's a work in progress. Over time, you will just feel more comfortable, feel more natural. If you do have any problems, of course, you can always come up onto your heel and modify as needs be. There is no hard and fast here. It's just where you are right now. And we don't want to put our comfort above anything else. When you're situated and ready, you can go ahead and raise the arms overhead. And just as we did last time, we're going to take a big inhale. And then exhale, come into cactus arms. Nice. Shoot the arm back up, overhead. Good job. Inhale. And then exhale into cactus arms. We're going to do this for a couple more reps. Stick with it. Be in the present. Be in the now. We're almost there. But you know what we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. It's just about balance. It's just like math. Nice. Keep up with your breath. Go at your own pace. Give yourself these 20 to 25 minutes just to tune in. You've already reached so far. Okay, with love, when you're ready, gonna turn to open the hips towards the side of your mat. So both your hip joints that were facing forward are gonna turn to the side, facing the long edge of your mat. Good job. Okay, great. Stick with it. Pay attention to your front leg. Keep that bend in the front leg. Here I'm adjusting my stance so I can achieve a deeper stretch here. Nice, and with everything, I'm ensuring that my hips are still facing toward the side as I continue to explore this posture. Feeling that nice stretch in our hip flexor and that bend in our front leg, strong through the core. We can, if we want, take it into Peaceful Warrior, gently resting the right hand against the right calf quickly for 1 second. And then we're back up into our Warrior 2. Maintain presence here. Double check to how that front leg is feeling, how the back leg is feeling. Maintaining your breath, inhale. And exhale, pivot on that back leg. Here we have a little time to check in, adjust our stance as is necessary, because we're going to take this up into our Warrior 3. We're going to draw energy from our center, step up onto that front leg as we lift off into our Warrior 3. Lift the back leg as much as possible, or you can slightly rest the toe on the floor. and bring the arms into airplane arms just for a little fun. Keep your core engaged here, slight bend in the front leg as we shift back into our wide stance. So we're going to end the sequence with our goddess pose just as we did the first time. Heel toe, the legs apart. Pull up energy from your toes all the way up through your thighs. And when you feel strong, you can go ahead and bend your knees. Shoot the knees towards the sides of the mat. And we're going to come into eagle arms, just as we did before. So the left hand is going to wrap under this time because this is the opposite hand of what I used last time. And I'm going to clasp my hands together because that is accessible for me today. So if not, you can rest your palms, the back of your palms facing each other. That's also a great alternative or modification. And wherever you are, just sink out to lower and maintaining your breath. Have fun with it. You're almost there and you're doing great. Sink out to lower. Inhale and exhale. Nice. If you would like, you can switch from side to side, like rock from side to side if you want, or you can just maintain your stance and switch arms as you do so, keeping your breath. You know what you could also do? You could also lift one leg, one heel up off the floor, and then the other heel if you want more of a challenge. You know, just to cater to all levels. Alright, so wherever you are, sink a little lower. Keep your arms in eagle pose. You're almost there. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, rise up, straighten the legs, and you can heel toe the legs together. Come into either hip width apart or all the way together. It's just what you prefer. As we come to the end of our practice, I invite you just to close your eyes. Do a self-checking on how you are feeling. Is there anything else that you would want to practice? Any pose that you would want to attempt? How is your neck feeling? How is your shoulder feeling? Would rotating my head from left to right make it feel any better? Would nodding my head feel good right now? Just these simple things are acts of love, just taking the time to check in with what we would need. That's great. Focus on your breath, inhale. And I invite you to join me in making a circle with your head. And exhale, rotate that circle to the other side. You can also come into standing cat-cow, slight bend in your knees, and the same position that we would do, the same movement that we would do on the floor is what we would do standing. So with a slight bend in your knee, curve your spine, and move your belly in that same motion. Exhale and inhale as you go. Shoulders are moving forward and backward, opening up the chest. So it's just these little things that make the world of difference. And as always, I thank you so much for joining me in practice. Thank you for allowing me to lead you in this 20 minutes. And I will see you next time. Namaste.